So I've had a pretty up and down week. I've been kind of stressed out all week because I had my first exam of the semester on Thursday, and I have another exam next week on Friday. So after I got out of my exam this week, I was feeling really good about it, went to work, got a few hours of overtime, broke my record for processing the most specimens in one night. So was feeling, really good about that. Did some pet sitting, came home pretty early in the morning since I worked third shift, and found, I was looking forward to coming home to my 3 foster kittens, play with them a little bit before I went to bed, and found one of them struggling to breathe in the middle of my bedroom. So I spent the next few hours up with her until I could get a hold of the vet. Took her in. Turns out she was born with an enlarged heart, so there really wasn't anything we could do, and so she didn't continue to suffer. We had to euthanize her. By the time I got home, I was just exhausted. That was Friday afternoon. I had a tournament Saturday. I think registration was from 11 to 12, and at that point I just really didn't feel like going. I was behind on my other class that the next exam was coming up for, and I just really didn't feel like doing much of anything. But I decided, after kind of the rough week, I really needed something to pick me up, and I haven't played Pokemon. I haven't been in the league in month and a half, and really haven't played against anyone that's playing a real deck in about the same amount of time. So I thought, well, why not? It's the first Battle Roads of the season. I'll go ahead, give it a shot, and just see what happens. So I'm really glad that I went. I went to a tournament in Hillsborough, North Carolina, which had a fairly decent turnout. The Hillsborough tournaments are always pretty small. I think we had about 10 masters or so. They combine the seniors and juniors, so I think we had, maybe 20 people show up, so nice little tournament, but there were quite a few competitive players, really good competitive players in my division, so I was pretty excited. It's a nice small tournament, so we'd get rounds done and fast, and I'd be home for dinner, but at the same time I knew I was also going to have some very challenging opponents. So let's go ahead and start off by, by reading the title, you know that I won first place. So let's go ahead and start off with the things that I got from the tournament. So not only was I pretty pumped that I got first place, but I got this really cool Reshiram tin in the raffle. So I haven't opened it yet because the packs in here, I think are black and white, and no, it's just 4 booster packs from black and white. I have a complete black and white set. There's really no cards that I'm looking for from black and white except for maybe some full art Zekroms, and the chance of me pulling them in this are pretty slim. So right now I'm going to put this up for sale. And I know shipping for this, because it's a tin, is going to be kind of expensive, probably going to cost around $5 to ship. So if you would like to pay for the whole tin, as well as shipping, let me know, that'd be great. Or if you would like me to open it up and just send you the card and the packs to reduce the shipping down to, a couple of bucks, I can do that as well. So there is the tin that I won in the raffle. I also got 4 booster packs of Emerging Powers for getting first place, or actually first and second place. Got 4 booster packs, so that's what's in here. And let me change my battery real quick, and I'll go ahead and show them. Okay, so for each pack, obviously they come with the 4 booster codes. So these are up for trade or sale. Just let me know. Got quite a few commons and uncommons, so I'm not going to go through all of these. I'll just kind of flip through them, but yeah, you can pretty much check out. I pretty much have 4 or more of everything, common and uncommon, from the Emerging Power set between this, pre-releases, and my booster box, so as well as some other openings that I've done. So just let me know if you need any commons, uncommons. I pulled a couple of trainers, 1 Crushing Hammer and 1 Max Potion. Probably, I can trade the Crushing Hammer, but probably going to hang on to the Max Potion until I get a few more of them. But depending on what you want, just send me a PM and I might be willing to trade it. 3 non-holo rares, Swanna, Lievany, and Unpheasant. 1 holo, Cobalion. My reverses were Minccino, Roggenrola, and Throw, and I believe they're all common, uncommon. So yeah, there's one more reverse that I, obviously, because there's 4 packs, so 4 reverses. So these were everything that I pulled in the first 3.5, packs, and I'm got to the 4th pack and I'm, start to open it, and I'm kind of bummed that I really have pulled nothing. I think the Max Potion was the best pull of those first 3 packs, and yeah, really have pulled nothing. Get to the 4th pack, and this is what I pull. Reverse Pokemon Catcher. Probably the most expensive card right now in the set. One of the hardest cards to pull, just because you can't even guarantee you get a reverse catcher in a booster box. I think I don't even know what the card is going for right now. But yeah, reverse catcher. So I was completely stoked. This was the best pull. Yeah, I mean, I was excited when I pulled it in my booster box, and I had a much higher chance of pulling it in a booster box than I did in 4 random packs. So I was pretty excited about this. My deck is really close to being revved out. Now I need 1 more reverse Pokemon catcher to completely rev out my deck. So if anyone has a reverse catcher out there that they're willing to part with, I've even got a few spare non-rev catchers that I could possibly work something out for. So definitely let me know. So those are the cards that I got for winning first place. Now I'm going to show you my deck. I know some people don't like to share their deck lists, but what works for me may not work for someone else because the metagame is different in the areas. I may have just been, gotten really lucky on my games. I can tell you there's a few times that I got lucky on my games today, and I won where I shouldn't have. And I think I'm gonna play this same deck tomorrow at the Morrisville Battle Roads. And who knows, I might lose completely with it. So let's go ahead and show it off. I run 1 Cleffa, just the one, just to avoid donks, and I do not run Tyrogue. 1 Horsey, 1 Kingdra, and yeah, I had a second Horsey in here, but I needed the extra space, so I know I run the risk of, with only playing 1 Horsey, it being captured up and knocked out before I can use it, but I really don't necessarily need the Kingdra in this deck. It's something nice to have, but it's definitely not essential. 4 Yanma. 4 Yanmega Prime, yeah, just an essential card of the deck because I don't as long as I can match hand sizes, I don't need any energy to attack. 4 Magnemite, 1 Magneton, and 3 Magnezone. And the reason I'm not running a 3-1-3 line is because of Pokemon Catcher. I want to be able to safely lose a Magnemite and still be able to get, at least 2 Magnezones up in a game, if not 3, depending on, what the match is and how many Yanmegas I can get up and can use too. And 1 Jirachi. And the point of Jirachi is if, I can spread damage around with Yanmega, maybe sometimes Magnezone. Magnezone is really more for knocking out things in 1 hit, but I can spread some damage around really nice with Yanmega and then use Time Hollow to level, to bring their stage 1 or stage 2s down, and hopefully get some cheap knockouts. Jirachi's also great for getting Psychic Energy back from the discard pile and getting it all in the field in 1 turn that you could possibly use for Magnezone's Lost Burn. So I really like just the 1 Jirachi. It's got lots of uses. So those are all the Pokemon that I run. It's kind of a smaller line. I think there's only 20 Pokemon cards, but it seems to work for me. I go pretty heavy on trainers and supporters. 4 Collector, 2 Sage. The Sage is mainly for making sure I can get a fast, rare candy Magnezone start before my Magnemites are taken up. They're also great when I'm facing trainer lock decks, so I can get those trainers out of my hand and get the supporters, energy, and Pokemon that I need. And obviously Pokemon Collector, I run 4 of them just to increase the chances that I'm going to get that Collector start. 1 Flower Shop Lady, which I know some of the better players don't run Flower Shop Lady in this deck at all, but I found when I was testing it out without it that I really just like Flower Shop. I can't get by without it, simply because with Catcher out there, you can sometimes get that energy in the discard pile, the lightning energy, that the Flower Shop is literally the only way you can get that back. And same thing with the Pokemon. A lot of my games today, I had 2 or more Yanmas prized, and I really needed to go Yanmega heavy to play the game. So Flower Shop is essential for that. The one thing I don't run that I often suggest running for a lot of other people run is Twins. And that's simply because, one, I need the space for, I think, other cards that are a little more important. And 2, with 4 Yanmegas, I should be getting the first prize or have prizes tied up most of the time. And the chance of me drawing into it when I need it are really slim. So I only run 2 Copycat. I would like to run more, but I'm really not sure what I should be taking out. I just like the idea of running more supporters. I run 4 Judge, and Judge has screwed me over many times before, but I try not to use it until I have a Magnezone in play so I can recover. At the same time, though, I've messed up a lot of people running 4 Judge. One of my opponents today can tell you they would get a good hand, and I think I was judging them every other turn, and they just, could not get off of that. So those are all the supporters that I run. I run 2 Switch, mainly for Bear Tick decks that don't run Vileplume, that get me stuck in the active position, and for Pokemon catchers that are bringing up my Magnezones with no energy to try and stall. That's why I run 2 Switch. I run 4 Rare Candy, and I know that may seem a little bit excessive, but with 3 Magnezones and 1 Kingdra, I want to be able to get them up as fast as possible, and once I get set up, I can always throw them away with Junk Arm. For the same reason, I run 4 Pokemon Communication, just to be able to get out what I want as fast as possible, and later on when I'm set up, they're Junk Arm fodder. I run 3 Catcher, which I can now swap with one of my reverses, leaving only 1 non-reverse, non-prime pretty card in the deck. I think it's kind of cool to play with reverses, if you can. But either way, same cards. So, 3 Catcher, I really don't think I need the 4th, just because I'm typically using a lot of my Junk Arms to reuse Catchers later on in the game. I do run 4 Junk Arms, which gives me the possibility of 7 Catchers. Now, I do tend to Junk Arm for a Rare Candy every now and then, Junk Arm for a Switch, and rarely I'll even Junk Arm for a Communication, although I typically don't need to do that. But I'm typically using 2 Junk Arms a game to get those Catchers out and really fly through my deck so that I can get that Catchers out of the deck itself. And now onto the energy line, which is really, really small, and that's another reason I like to run Flower Shop, is if I haven't lost burned away everything, I want to be able to get those energy back. So I run 4 Lightning, 4 Psychic, and mainly this is to be able to throw them away early game, to be able to get them on the field fast and easy with Jirachi. Magnezone only needs 1 Lightning Energy anyways. And 2 Rainbow Energy. Rainbow Energy in this deck has a ton of uses. I can use it on Kingdra to be able to knock out Donphans with, I think it's Dragon's Team. I can always use it to attach to Yanmega to get that grass energy, so I don't have to worry about matching my hand size. And if needed, I can always attach it to Magnezone and have it count as the lightning energy. So this is really a great deck for Rainbow Energy. Before this, I had honestly never played it. So that is my version of Yanmega Magnezone. It's pretty straightforward, and so far has been pretty consistent for me. So now I'm going to do a hopefully relatively quick run through of my matches today. So my first match was against probably the best Pokemon player that I know, Curran Hill, and he was running a Zoroark, Donphan, Buffalont deck. And yeah, I'll admit it, Curran Hill is probably one of the players that I see that I'm paired against him, and I'm quite intimidated by him. He's beaten me many more times than I've beaten him. So yeah, I was not quite happy at all that my first game of the season was going to be against him. Figured it'd be an automatic loss. But nothing I could do but go in there and, play my best. So I had a horrible start. I mulliganed twice, which gave him a 2-card advantage. I even forgot to put out my prizes, but luckily he was nice enough to remind me before we really got started with the game, and I was able to put them out without a penalty. So honestly, the biggest thing was I got a Kingdra up fast and was able to use the catchers before the Dawn fans could knock out my Magnezones, and he should have won the game, except that he didn't have any Pokemon catcher, which was really weird, but he hadn't gone to any of the pre-releases. So being that he didn't have any Pokemon catcher, he had to use reversals instead. He had 4 reversals in his deck, and even junk-armed to use 2 of them over again, and ended up flipping 5 out of 6 reversal tails, which honestly, I think if he had flipped a few more heads, definitely would have clinched the game for him. Our game went into time with me being ahead on prizes, and I don't remember if he was able to get a prize or off of his couple turns or not. But either way, when after our 3 turns after that, I was 1 prize ahead. So won on time. Was pretty excited. My second game was against my league leader, whose son also just moved up into the senior division, who was actually playing, I think, a really good deck, especially for a Pokemon. But yeah, she's actually beaten me before in tournament, so she's definitely not a bad player at all. And she was running a variation of Donphan Zekrom with a few teched in Buffalo and I pretty much did the same thing I did on the other one. Every time I saw a Phanpy hit the field, I brought it up as fast as I could. The Zekroms really gave me some issues, as well as the Buffalons, but I was able to get a Kingdra up really fast to Spray Splash and just spread some damage around, and was able to finally do some knockouts. That game went to time as well. And yeah, I think I was ahead on by prizes by about 2 or so, and so there was just no way that in the end it came down that she had to get 2 prizes in 1 turn, and just unfortunately couldn't do that. So my third game was against Lee Lackey, another really good player. And he was playing what I was really afraid of coming up against, a Gothitelle Ranunculus Dragons deck. Essentially, you get the Gothitelle up active, so your opponent can't play trainers, but you can. You use Ranunculus to move around the damage when Gothitelle is attacked to Zekrom and Reshiram, and then use Outrage on those guys to be able to hit your opponent really, really hard. Luckily, he had, I think he ran 4 Gothita. I was able to knock one out with the Yanmega really early on, and then I lost burned 3 energy to Magnezone to knock out the second one, and the other 2 were prized. So once I had those 2 out of the way, he almost had me running out of cards in my deck, because I had to go through quite a lot of resources to get rid of the dragons that he left. He had a Reshiram and a Zekrom on the field, and I had already thrown out 3 energy to take care of those guys. So it took a little while, but I was finally able to get it. But that was a game that I believe went to time as well. So I was really excited that 3 of my games, not only did I win, but they all went to time. So they're all really, really good games. My fourth game was against Ben Thompson, and for some reason, every time I play this guy, we have really, really awesome games that typically go into time. And he was running a deck that I was also a little concerned about, a Beartic deck, or a Beartic deck. Now, the Beartic deck that I tried to build was Beartic Vileplume. I used Sheer Cold to prevent you from attacking me, and with Vileplume up, you can't use Switch to just get out of the way. He did, I couldn't get that one to work, so that's why I didn't run it, but he did a Beartic Weavile deck. So he gets a few Sneasels, he judges you to get your hand down to 4, then uses Weavile's Claw Snag to reduce your hand even further, which can really, really hurt. Yeah, pretty much. Our first game was really close. I think it came down to time, as well as we were 1 prize apart. And I just remember really having to focus on my catchers to bring up Beartic that didn't have any energy on them yet to stall. I spread some damage around. I know I used Jirachi a couple times to bring the Beartics down to knock them out when I didn't have another Yanmega out, but just a really, really close game. So there were only 4 rounds, and those were my 4 Swiss round, so I went undefeated in Swiss. Top 2 was myself, of course, and Ben Thompson again with Beartic Weavile. So first game went pretty much like our Swiss game. Came relatively close. He had a couple of Beartics prized, though, which really hurt him after I was able to knock out 2. Did I knock out 2 or one of them? I think he only had 1 other Beartic out, but once I was able to knock out that one, even though I think I had a kind of a slow start, he really didn't have much heat to do, so he scooped. And he scooped to save time because we only had, a certain amount of time, a limited amount of time to get 3 games in. So went on to the second game. He gets to choose who goes first. So of course he chose to go first himself. And he judges me early game, and every time I draw, it's, I think, 3 energy and 1 non-supporter card. And I was just struggling the entire game. I kept the prizes pretty close, but in the end, he got it, and just, there were too many Beartics. So the third game, was more of a donk, just kind of a delayed donk. I obviously chose to go first. I got a few Pokemon on the field. Takes his turn, he judges me turn 1, and I had an amazing hand, thought I really had a good shot. Unfortunately, he judges me into a bad hand. Worse for him, though, he judges himself into a terrible hand, and he has a lone Sneasel in the active position and nothing on the bench, nothing else to play. So he's forced to pass. I top the Yanmega to evolve my already active Yanma. And that leaves my hand down to 4. His hand is at 4 from the judge that he just did, which means we have the same hand size, so I'm able to do Yanmega's Sonic Boom for 70 to knock out the Sneasel. So the third game was kind of disappointing, but yeah, I still won of the 4 games that I played against him. I won 3 out of the 4, and the first couple of games, actually the first 3 games were really, really good. So I was pretty happy overall with the day, and unfortunately I don't have the Victory Cup card to show because Pokemon was late in sending out all of the Victory Cups to all the PTOs, but hopefully I'll get my Victory Cup card tomorrow, and I'll probably do another Battle Roads report for the tournament tomorrow, in which case I will show both Victory Cups. I've got quite a bit of work cut out for me this season because there's 3 different Victory Cups, one for first, second, and third, and as a collector I want to get all 3. So I've got my first place win, and now I need to get a second and a third place win to have those cards in my collection. So thank you for listening / watching. Obviously there wasn't too much to watch in the end of this video, but I hope my battle reports were interesting, and I tried to do them before the day was done, just so they were still kind of fresh in my mind. I know I forgot a lot of stuff, but I did the best I could. So I'm gonna try and do more of these battle reports in the future, and yeah, they're lots of fun. So thanks everyone for watching this vid.